So one of the things that we're not able to do at the moment is put music out through this setup. So what we're going to suggest to those of you who really enjoy doing your Shibashi to music, find yourself some gentle background music of your own choosing to have on in your own house. Otherwise, we'll be doing it in silence, which is the traditional way of doing Qigong and Neigong. But Shibashi is an unusual one that it is done with music normally. So feel free to go and find yourself some music.
We are going to sort out the music, aren't we?
We will be sorting it out. Yes, yes, we're going to get some new music that is licensed for use specifically on YouTube. So we hope that next week, if we can get this to work and if we get satisfactory feedback, we will be able to run the music through next time. So since it's now 6:30 in the UK, I say in the UK because I know we've got some visitors coming to watch the live stream from around the world, so different time zones apply. Now, before I get started, there are a few health and safety things that I have to say, which fairly obviously, since it's a live stream on YouTube, we can't see any of you. You can see us, but this means you need to take some responsibility for your own health and safety. So have a look around your space, make sure you've not got any trip hazards, any unexpected loose animals rushing through, that kind of thing, and make sure you're wearing something comfortable and that you have a chair if you want to sit down fairly nearby. If it's your first time doing this with us, definitely have a chair nearby so that you can sit and watch at any time. So the live streams we've planned to do were primarily inspired by the lockdown and not being able to teach our Wednesday evening class at all, and them not being available for our daytime Zoom classes, of which we have a number. So we're hoping that there will be quite a few of you from our Wednesday evening class here, as well as visitors from other places. Obviously, those of you who are familiar with the way we teach know about the things that are important to keep yourself safe. If there are people watching this who've never done any Qigong or Tai Chi with us before, there are some key principles we would like you to be aware of. And the main one is you're going to stick to your 70% maximum stretch or turn or endurance on anything. Now, if you're feeling a bit wobbly or a little unwell or anything at any time during the exercise set where your gut feeling says, actually, I don't want to be doing this anymore, please just stop doing it. Obviously, we can't monitor you and think, oh, so-and-so possibly needs to sit down now. So you're going to use common sense, good old common sense, and keep yourself safe and enjoy what we're doing. So one of the themes I want to use today is really feeling the ground, being in your legs. Now, that's a strange thing to say for many people. We live in a body, of course we're in our legs, but we're going to look at really being in our legs. And the first thing to do is to get the busy, busy mind slowed down so that the busy mind that's drawing your chi up into your head can come down into your body, more body speed. Now, our body and our mind work at very different speeds. We could send a thought to Australia in the flash. We could speak to someone in Australia on a phone. But our body moves at a human pace. It moves at a steady, natural pace. We haven't evolved as a species that can jump through time or run faster than we're evolved to do. So feeling into the body, the flesh and bones of the body, is going to mean really feeling. So taking your mind now down to your feet. Now, ideally, you want to be wearing flat shoes that don't slip around. You want to feel the floor through the soles of the feet. For this particular standing we do before we start movements, the feet want to be as parallel as they comfortably go. Now, don't force them if they're not wanting to align. So parallel, like you're standing on very narrow gauge, miniature railway sort of track. The knees slightly bent, so not locked. If you saw it from the side, this would be locked, rigid, no bounce, can't really do anything. This is off lock, so a springiness in the knees. And really allow the weight of the body to drop down through your legs, through the centers of your knee joints, down through to the feet. And then just gently rock back and forwards just a tiny bit, so that you can allow your weight to settle in the center of your feet. The arch of the foot supporting up away from the floor. Just take your mind to feel the arch of the foot and the outside edges of the foot. And the heels and the balls of the feet, making sure that there is no rolling in or out at your ankles, to the best of your ability to feel that. So coming up from the ground, the pelvis is like a big bowl. And you want to sit into your legs using an action just as though you're about to sit down. It's also much the same action you'd make if you were about to spring into the air. So we're priming the legs for a bit of action, not too much bend in the knees. But a clear fold here, as though we're sitting into the legs, and the weight going down centrally. So you're not pushing your weight forward onto the balls of the feet or onto the heels. It's equally spread. And then feel the ground again. Should already feel a little clearer, a little more weight coming down. And now we're going to allow the head to be like a helium balloon, lifting up away from this heavy, stable base. Imagining that you're singing or humming a deep note somewhere down there. And that will allow the chin very slightly to settle in a very, very slight drop. Opening out the vertebrae at the back of the neck and allowing the spine to hang down a little more comfortably. And now our breathing. Let your breath deepen and lengthen a little. And breathing as much as you can into your belly, into this part of the body here. If you put your hands onto the sides of the body just above the hips, so the top of the iliac crest, the top of the hip bowl is here. And if you gently squeeze the hands towards each other and spread your fingers and do an inhale, you want to have a feeling of your fingers being pushed apart. So you're breathing into the belly and the sides. same time allowing the sacrum at the back of the pelvis to start to relax downwards. So we've got a slightly deeper breath. Don't worry if your breath is not getting down here yet. It's what we call abdominal breathing. And letting go of your hips and your waist. Now I'm going to take the breath up a little higher. So it starts to fill into the belly and the sides, creating a little bit of pressure downwards below the diaphragm. And then we're going to let it go up the back. So it deepens and lengthens a little more. All the time getting more and more fully into your body. As you observe the breath, it calms the mind. The body feeling a little clearer. Now all Tai Chi and Qigong begins with this preparation of standing still. We don't always do it for quite this long, but it's an important component of getting into your legs. Now feel the ground a little more clearly, sit into the legs, and we're now going to rotate the arms a little so the backs of the hands face forwards, breathing in. And as we breathe out, we're going to sit into the legs, making sure that the knees don't come forward of the toes. So there's no pressure or discomfort around your knees. Keeping the spine as upright as you can. The gaze nice and soft. So with the Tai Chi Qigong Shibashi movements, there are a few visualizations, and the beginning movements, it's suggested that you imagine yourself standing on top of a mountain, looking at a wonderful view that expands off to the horizons. And gradually with these movements, doing them at your own speed of breath, as your inhale deepens and lengthens, the arms can come up a little higher. But we still want to feel our legs. So I'm going to do a few more of this first movement to really get you into your legs. Use the pressure against the floor. Push down through the feet and use that to help your body rise. Now releasing back down, your weight goes down, soaking into the earth, pushing down with the hands, releasing down into the earth. So the fall, the autumn, is a very good time to let go, to release downwards. Let the wrists relax down when you get to the bottom. The arms come up much more lightly and push down and then release the wrists down, like the leaves falling effortlessly from the trees at the moment. And just for a few more of these. As the arms rise, the shoulder blades are going to drop and your gaze can start to go out. Imagining that lovely view, nice relaxed eyes. Creating a little frame now between the index finger and the thumb of each hand at the top of the movement. Gaze going off into the distance. And this time, when the arms come up, this is an inhale. It's going to carry on being an inhale if you can, as we open the arms to the side. Come back towards center and push down. So again, broadening our peripheral vision as we let our gaze follow the hands. Nice and softly in your peripheral vision as they open. Imagine the beautiful view. And just allowing that quality of expansion. So the movement is quite literally expanding through the rib cage. Allowing more air into the upper thoracic area on your inhale. Release down into the earth. Feel the legs loading. Having an ache in the thighs is good, in the thigh muscles. Having any kind of discomfort in your knees is not good. So monitor your level of movement. Doesn't need to be as big as ours. You can do the move seated if you're getting any discomfort in your knees. Now the next movement, as we breathe in, the shoulder blades are going to drop. You're going to take your weight to your right leg. So follow Patrick if you want to go in the right direction, following someone from behind. But your gaze is going to go to the opposite direction from your weight. So your weight goes one way and your neck is going to turn the other way to look out into that lovely big horizon. Now the movement's called painting the rainbow or dancing with the rainbow. One of the other things with the Shibashi set 1, it was devised at a time when in China, the spirits of people needed to be lifted. So it's interesting that we also use the rainbow at the moment as a sign of hope and thanks. Let your gaze, if you're comfortable with a little bit of tilt of the neck, let your gaze go up without closing down the back of the neck or going into any discomfort. And without destabilizing your balance. If you feel wobbly looking up, you can do the movement much lower with your arms as well. You need to come as high as ours. We're just doing them at the full extension that we are able to comfortably do, and that this set is traditionally done at. So for some of our day classes, remember you want to be doing the movements a little lower, probably down here. And that'll apply to all of the movements as they are adapted to our various groups. And now we're going to lower both arms. Sitting into the legs, making sure your knees don't come forward of your toes. The wrists are now going to cross, palms facing forward. Push against the floor to lift the body up. Hands point up. Now we're going to push apart the clouds so we can see the sunshine shining through. Scooping, lifting. Gaze goes up, push apart. Sit the wrists a little as you sit into the legs. The wrists don't need to touch each other. They're one above the other. And remember, you don't need to lift your arms as high as we're doing. The shoulder blades drop in order that the arms can rise without tension, without the shoulders coming up towards the ears. So nice deep breaths at your speed of breath, breathing in as the arms rise. And out as you push the clouds apart and sit into the legs coming down. Release down into the earth. Remember the autumn leaves falling down, the trees releasing their burden. They don't want that weight over the winter. So it's an uplifting time for the trees as well. They're shedding all that excess weight of leaves that makes them unstable in the wind. And this time, as the arms are coming down, when they get halfway down, they're going to come towards each other. Make sure you're still sitting into your legs. And then you're going to take your right arm and lower it. Let its shoulder blade drop as the arm rises. And then push forwards. So there are instructions on our website about how to do these moves and some of the adaptations that we teach. So if you don't have access to it and you would like to look, send us an email via our website. It's in our password protected library. It's really for our students, but we're always welcoming new people. And now we're teaching online a lot more. It really doesn't matter where you live. So this is the most tricky movement to coordinate in this whole set. So don't worry if you are struggling a little. The knees should always stay aligned with the feet. So the feet are still facing forwards. So the fronts of your knees also face forwards. With this movement, we're separating the waist. And the next arm that is coming forward, we're going to push down, sitting into the legs. Push behind us a little. Release the wrists and lift with the gaze going up. Sitting into the legs. Now they've warmed up a little. A little more deeply if you can do so without the knees going forward of the toes. You should always be able to see your toes if you look down. If you can't see your toes, you've bent your knees too much. So this one's called rowing the boat in the middle of a still lake. Again, each time the arms rise in any of these movements, the shoulder blades drop down. So if you think of the shoulder blade, the triangular bone, the scapula, the bottom tip of it, you can imagine it to start with, and eventually you'll learn to feel it. As the arms start to rise, you want to send that bottom tip of the shoulder blade down towards the ground. And it makes the lifting of your arms very much more effortless. The shoulder blade is the root of your arm. We often call it the lost joint of the body because so few people have ever learned to use their shoulder blades. That's one reason why there's so many shoulder and neck problems in our country. And now coming back to neutral. This next movement, the daytime classes amongst you are used to doing with your hand pressing down to help your balance at the side. So if you want to do it without the hand pressing down, you would need to have fairly good balance. So we're going to turn to the left, lifting the other arm palm up, lift the heels, lower the heels. Now there is a weight shift with this movement. We're going to let the weight go in the direction that we're turning, and we're going to lift the heels at the point where it feels as though they want to peel off the ground. Keeping your movements nice and steady and continuous. If you find that the heel lift is not helping you at the moment, just keep your heels on the ground. If your balance is not quite good enough, but you do want to lift the heels, you can press down with the hand as it comes to the side, as though you're pressing down onto a table at just the right height to help support you. This will help to anchor you. So we breathe in as the hand rises, out as it lowers. Making sure you're still in your legs, feeling the ground through the heels as well as the sides and the balls of the feet. And the next time you are turning towards your right, when you come back down, you're going to drop into the legs and carry on turning through the waist and then the neck and back down. This one's called gazing at the moon. So our daytime students, carry on doing it as you are used to doing it. For those who feel that they have good balance and good flexibility and nice strong legs, see if you can drop down a little more deeply into the center of the movement and then come a little more upright. So the legs straighten, they don't lock, but you grow as tall through the body as you can grow without locking any joints. So this has quite an undulating down and up. The idea of feeling as though we're pulling the energy of the moon from the sky, dropping it into a lake and looking at its reflection, and then taking it back up. Pulling the energy of the moon down between our hands. Looking at the reflection in the water and taking the moon back up. The eyes nice and soft. Soft gaze. The hips staying facing forward as much as you can, and also the knees. So we want to keep a relaxation in the perineum area and a nice open arch between the thighs. And then coming back to center, palms up at the hips. Now this next one has no weight shift, but we're going to turn through the waist and withdraw. So exhaling as you push, inhaling as you withdraw. So in this, we're standing in what is known as a horse stance, or a horse riding stance, obviously a very narrow pony. But the idea is that if you think of like a pony galloping across the plains going forward, your hips and knees stay facing in the same direction as the horse is going in a straight line forward. And your body above your hips, so your waist, And your shoulder blades are moving, they're mobile. This is giving the internal organs a really nice massage. And the next time you push to your right, keep that upper hand up and bring it up with the elbow quite heavy, not floating, so your shoulders stay down. Bring it up so the hand is at face height, around about eye level. Angle the other hand so that it feels as though you could be holding the sides of a big ball. Now we're going to turn our body to the left. Inhaling, change the hands. Turn our body to the right. Exhaling at your own speed. Notice with this movement that there is no weight shift going from side to side. If you're one of our day class students and you feel you need to shift your weight, I know with arthritic joints, standing in this position for too long can be uncomfortable. Please continue to do it as is comfortable for you. Now the idea with this one is that the hand that is at the top is moving chi, our life energy, through the upper dantian. We've got a link between the lower and the upper. Feel into your legs as you're doing this movement. You should still feel very anchored into the ground. And we're going to leave the hand that's at the side, open the other one out, take your weight into your right leg, draw the left knee forwards. Place the heel, it's about half a step, and then we're going to bring the weight forward. Both feet are going to stay flat on the floor, the wrists will cross. Now drive your weight back into the back foot, lift the arms, find the height that works for you, and open. Drive the weight forward. So those of you who did the Tai Chi class online with us today, we spent about 3/4 of an hour looking at how the weight is driven through the stance. So you can apply the benefit of that. I know some of you are attending tonight. So the idea is you push into the ground through your foot. One leg pushes, the other leg receives. So we're not leading our movement with our head and shoulders. We're leading our movement by pushing into the ground and receiving equally in through the other leg. Driving out of that leg, receiving through the other leg. Now this movement again has a very joyous opening quality. So it's called scooping the water from the sea and looking at the sky. If your balance feels good enough, you can look up at the sky as your shoulder blades drop and the arms rise. Imagining yourself like a little child playing, remembering yourself like a little child playing. Most of us have very good memories of childhood. Imagine yourself like that joyful child, just playing with the water in the sunshine. Be free and easy. And the next time that you're in your back leg and the arms are starting to come down, drop the elbows, bring the hands towards the torso and lift the front toes off the ground. Now we're going to push an imaginary wave. Release the wrists. feel the ground. Feel the point in this movement where your feet are both flat on the ground and there is a quality of down. Enjoy that down. The stability of both feet on the ground, and then the heel of the back foot peels off. So this movement is called pushing the waves. Now, anything you want to push in Tai Chi, you want to be solidly in your legs. So at no point should you feel as though you're floating away with the wave. However nice that might be as an idea, we want to keep really in our legs. So the health of our legs is really important, particularly as we all age. Well, at any age, actually. Now, if you feel you need to change legs, please do. Traditionally, this set is done with the left leg forward. Throughout all three of these movements, which are in what's known as a bow stance. And now for the last one of those, as the arms come up to the top of the wave, we're going to sit into the back leg and open the arms to the side. Again, see if you can retain a view through your peripheral vision of the hands extending to the sides, just like we did with broadening through the chest. And this one is called Dove Prepares to Fly. So the dove is opening its wings. So we're breathing in as we open the wings and expand through our chest. Your wings are rooted in your shoulder blades. So the shoulder blades supporting the arms are going to go towards the spine. You're going to try to keep your hands at shoulder to neck height. Imagining the air a little more viscous than it actually is. Imagine somewhere lovely to fly to. Steady, smooth movement. Again, with this one, you can look up towards the sky as you sit back. And this opens all the soft yin surfaces of the body. And there is a constant descending flow of chi down onto our planet from what's known as the heavens down into the earth. And a rising chi from the earth that's coming up through the legs, down through the legs as we rock. Okay, so we're now going to take a step back and form fists at our hips. Now, left fist first, we're going to set it, so the back of the hand points at the ceiling, and then punch directly forward. That's an exhale. Inhale as you withdraw the fist. Make sure you're sitting into your legs. So think martial artist. Nice solid legs, feel the ground. Set the angle of the wrist, punch forward. Release the fist and withdraw. So exhaling, punch forward. Release through the whole arm and withdraw. Breathing in as you come back. Feel the solidity of connection through your legs, down into the earth. And the next time you punch forward, bring the other arm forward as well. Now we're going to release both hands down, sitting into the legs, and then they're going to swoop up to the sides. Wild goose flies. Sitting into the legs, the hands face the outside of the thighs as you sit into the legs. Now the legs are nicely warmed up. So long as your legs still feel comfortable, you can sit more deeply into the stance. As you go down, press into the ground with the feet, lifting up through the body, breathing to the top of the lungs as the arms rise, exhaling as they lower. So at your comfortable speed of breath, breathing in and out. Release down through the wrists into the ground. At the bottom, release up into the sky at the top. Again, imagining great wings rooted in the shoulder blades. And imagine feathers extending beyond each of your fingers and each of your thumbs so they can lightly brush the ground as the arms come down. Lightly brush something on the way up. Imagine what that might feel like at the tips of your feathers. And you may get a sensation of chi flowing more clearly through your fingers to get there. So we want the hands coming really alive. And this time when the arms come down, you're going to take your weight to your left, but let the arms go to the right and then change both of them so that the arms can now circle round, the palms facing away from you through most of the movement, and then releasing down into the earth as you go through center. So it's like the palms are polishing around the numbers of a big clock face, and then we release down into the earth. The body rising and sinking, sitting into the legs as you go through center. We're going to change direction, going the other way. So with this movement now, we're doing it with the weight going in the opposite direction from the arms. So if you're a day class student, do what feels comfortable for you. And then next time you're at the bottom, just pause for a moment. Take your weight into your right leg, draw the left knee forwards and the opposite arm. And we're going to bounce an imaginary ball, dropping the raised foot flat onto the ground. So with this movement, if you've not studied with us for a while, there is no heel lift on the weighted leg anymore. A little more in your legs. So the bounce in this movement, think about it coming from your lower belly. So again, think of yourself as a child playing with a ball. That'll be springy, bouncy quality you had when you were a child. Still there in your chi. And then bringing the arms to the sides, the final movement. Gathering, pulling up, and pressing down with the palms. Sit the heels of the hands a little. Gathering, pulling up, and pressing down with the palms. So we are balancing the chi of the body. Got a nice vibrant flow of chi around the body now. Nice deep, steady inhale coming up, exhaling going down, releasing into the earth. Gathering, pulling up, feel the legs. Feel the legs working. Pushing them into the ground lifts the body. Absorbing down into the ground. Let your weight go down through the legs. Letting go of any tensions, any worries, staying in the moment. A smooth, steady release down into the earth, and then allowing the chi to rise naturally. Very calming, very balancing for the mind as well as the body. And this time when the hands are starting to come down, I'm going to rub the palms together. And then we're going to rub the kidney area, any part of your hand, that general area. If you can't reach around there, just rub somewhere nearby. And then we're going to pat down the outside of the legs and stand up. Now today we've been doing a little more focus on the thighs. You've probably been working them hard. So loose fists with a hollow center. It's like our Tai Chi punches. And drumming on the thighs. This helps to break up any lactic acid built up in the legs. You need to hold on to something or sit down and do it. That's absolutely fine, of course. Okay, and then just stand for a moment. Just stand still, like we did at the beginning. Feel the difference in your body now. It should know that it's done a workout. Should be some tingling, some aliveness in places that were maybe a little bit stiff or dead feeling before. Allow yourself